Hello, my name's Jo and I'm going to be your tutor for this First Intuition ICAW Certificate Level Law course. Now, you should have received your pack from First Intuition. This will include a set of course notes. These are the minimum amount that you'll need to learn in order to pass your exam. You will also have received a textbook. Now, the textbook is more detailed. It has a little bit more information in there than the course notes. Please don't feel obliged to memorise the textbook. Use it as a reference manual to expand on any topics in the course notes that you find particularly interesting, or maybe to clarify a point that perhaps you're having problems getting your head around. You'll also have a question bank. Now, the question bank is particularly important. You should work through this at least once, if not 2 or 3 times. So you might want to avoid writing in the question bank so that you can always go back to it. When you answer a question, always make sure that you know why that question was right or wrong. Quite often students will guess at an answer and then just assume that, they would have got it right. They knew the right answer, when really it was just luck. If you can't understand why a particular answer is right or wrong, please do ask your tutor for help. It's really important. Now let's look inside the notes. Now there are 11 chapters going through from formation of a contract, agency law, tort law, quite a lot on company law, which can be a little bit tedious to learn, partnerships, criminal law, and finally employment law and data protection. And you'll see at the end here, there are some progress tests. Each progress test covers a block of 3 chapters. So when you've finished a section, maybe if you're doing this course at home at the end of a day, you should be able to attempt one of the progress tests. Now, how does the law paper fit in to the whole thing? Well, we are currently just down here on the law paper. You can take this paper in any order. You can take it as your first or your last certificate paper, or indeed you can actually take it at any point up until entering in for case study. I have had an odd student who's done that. The law paper doesn't directly feed into any other paper, but an awareness of law is particularly useful when you're looking at the business strategy paper or indeed the case study paper, where there can be marks going for identifying the legal issues that a business might face. Now, what does the examiner actually expect of this course? Well, clearly, in one short course, you're not going to become a fully qualified lawyer. But what the examiner would like is to make sure that you have an understanding of contract law, how contracts are made, and how a director can act as an agent for a company, for instance, and also the consequences of professional negligence. They want you to understand the legal implications of incorporating a business. How is a company managed? Who has control of the business? And what happens in an insolvency situation? Again, there's quite a significant section in this course on criminal behaviour, not because the examiner thinks you're going to become a criminal, but because they want you to be able to identify if people around you are behaving inappropriately. And then there's other sort of key areas that the examiner might expect you to have an awareness of, particularly, say, ethics. Now, there is down here a specification grid. This just shows you the weighting of the different chapters. You can see there company insolvency law, but 40% of the paper is by far one of the bigger sections. The criminal law section, actually, because it's only one chapter, at 10% of the paper is probably an easy one to score good marks in, because there's not an awful lot to learn in order to obtain those marks. Now, how will you be assessed? Well, you're going to be taking a 1.5-hour computer-based exam, just like all the other certificate papers. You'll have 50 questions and they're worth 2 marks each. Now, that means that you're going to have to get 28 questions right in order to achieve the pass mark of 55%. Now, I would mention a lot of the questions have 2 parts. Unfortunately, it's all or nothing. You have to get both parts right in order to get your 2 marks, and you don't get part marks for any question. So I would suggest that you start by listening to the first recording. When you've finished a chapter, attempt the questions that are relevant to that chapter, and then move on when you're ready. Please study at your own pace. Often short sessions are much better. It's much easier to remember things in a short session than it is if you sit in the same place for hours and listen to hours and hours of recorded lectures. I hope you enjoy your course. If you don't, if you have a problem with it, please do let us know. We'll be very happy to try and sort out any issues that you have. And if you get stuck, please do ask for help. Your First Intuition tutor is always happy to help you. Good luck. I'll see you for the first lecture.